Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Now, Tn and omega n is related with this expression here. But as you can imagine, the angular frequency or the cyclic frequency, which is the number of cycles. So remember, the cyclic frequency is number of cycles finished within 1 second. Okay. The natural circular frequency is the angle traversed in a second of motion. So I can relate these two as well, isn't it? I can say that my omega n would be equal to the angle in radian times the number of cycles. Okay, so if I say it is completed 1 cycle, can I say the angle it would have completed would be 2 pi? Isn't it? So I can say that, or I can write down this relationship here. Okay, so the circular frequency and the cyclic frequency are actually related with this expression. Okay, and the time period would be, as I said, number of cycles completed in 1 second is the cyclic frequency. Okay, so the time taken to finish one cycle is what we have defined as time period. So the time taken to finish one cycle would be 1 by Fn. Okay, this is how the time period and the frequency, the cyclic frequency of the systems are related. Now, I understand that some of this might seem very trivial to you because you would have already done this in your some other courses. We need to be careful at each of these terms that we discussed here. In reference to, we are going to discuss these terms in context of structural dynamics. Now, I've been using this term quite a lot, right? Natural. Okay, what does it mean? Why am I using this term? Can somebody tell me what the natural here referring to? I know some of you have done this course or topic before as well, or even if you have not done it, based on what we have discussed here, can you tell me what is the natural mean here?
Depending
Yes.
on the properties of structure like mass and the stiffness.
Okay, but let us say so in a later chapter we'll see that damping is also a system of the structure, right? And we can also find out the damped frequency of the system, right? So that is not called the natural property, right? Because damping is also the system property. Yeah. Who is
Sir,
this?
because no external force is there. So this is Devesh Kumar.
Okay. So Devesh is saying because no external force is being applied. Okay, I can buy that. Is there any other condition? I mean, we are just studying what? Undamped free vibration, right? So natural means that properties of the system derived from an undamped system without any influence of external force. So if I impart a system initial condition and let it vibrate without any action of external force, okay, I can determine the system properties from that, and those system properties would termed as natural properties. So natural time period, natural circular frequency, or natural cyclic frequency of the system. Okay, so this term is there. So even when we study damped system in which we would have damping, or a system with external forces, we would still be referring to the natural time period, which means Tn, okay, as opposed to damped time period, which is also a parameter that you are going to see, or damped frequency, which is omega d, and those are different from the natural time period or the natural circular frequency. Okay, so natural means no damping, no external force. Whatever the properties that you get is basically the natural properties of the dynamic system. Okay, is that clear to all of you? All right. Once we have that, we have found out, and we that these relationship, remember what the equation of motion, sorry, the equation of motion was u of t equal to u of 0 cos omega nt. I had only written it in terms of omega nt, but once I have this relationship here, okay, I can write it in terms of Tn as well, right? Which won't be used that frequently, but it's always good to have or good to know that representation as well. Okay, because many times you would just be given the Tn. So if I substitute it, this equation can also be written as 2 pi by Tn times T and then sine 2 pi by Tn T. Okay, so this is another representation. All right, so you just need to keep these in mind. Now, I defined all other things. The one thing that I have not defined is what is the maximum value of u naught here, or what is the amplitude of the motion of the free vibration. Because I said it is going to vibrate, and if it's an undamped system, the amplitude is constant, it is not changing. So I need to find out what is the amplitude of this system, isn't it? So that I need to find out from this expression. Okay, and if you remember from your trigonometric identities, okay, if I had something like, say, cos theta times cos alpha plus sin theta times sin alpha, what can I write this as? Can you give me the expression for this? Can I say I can write this as cos theta minus alpha? Anybody has any objection to this? If you agree with that, there was another representation. If I have something like a cos theta plus b sin theta, okay, I can represent or write this as a square plus b square and divide by the same quantity so that it is a square plus b square cos theta plus b divided by a square plus b square sin theta. And this I can represent it as cos alpha is equal to a divided by a square plus b square and sin alpha is equal to b divided by a square plus b square. Okay, and I don't have to explain in this much detail to you, but just for the sake of it, I won't be doing it again and again. So let us just discuss it anyway. Okay, so I can write this expression as u of 0 plus u dot of 0, where I will assume this to be a and the second quantity to be b. Okay, and inside I will write this as cos of theta, or let us say instead of alpha I use here another thing called phi, cos of theta minus phi. Okay, if I have that, then I can say that the maximum value of this function u of t, because the maximum value of any cos function would be only 1, right? The amplitude of this function u naught would be equal to this expression that I have here. Okay, so this is the amplitude of free vibration. So it depends on the initial displacement that is being imparted and the initial velocity that is being imparted. Okay, and that determines the amplitude of free vibration. And like I mean, you can verify this. For example, if you pull a spring, let us say by initial displacement, let us say any spring is its in initial equilibrium, right? So and if you pull that spring from its static equilibrium position, it will start, and release it, it will start vibrating. Okay, you don't give it any velocity, you just pull it by, let us say, u of 0. Okay, if you do that, so let me say the free vibration of a spring where you only provide u of 0, no u dot 0. Physically, you would also see if you pull it and if you release it, and assuming that there is no damping, it will start vibrating again and again with the same amplitude, that is u0. And that can also be obtained from here, this expression. Okay, so if u dot is 0, And if you substitute it here, it would be nothing but u0. Similarly, if you strike something with a hammer, you are providing initial velocity but not a displacement, then u of 0 would be equal to 0. Okay, so let us say hammer strike. In that case, your u0 would be equal to u dot 0 by omega n, because this is the maximum displacement. Okay, are these concepts clear to you? Yeah.
Sir, I am Sanjay. Sir,
Yeah.
just I want to clear this. The equation we have derived, it is equation for free vibration. So it can have either displacement, initial displacement, or initial velocity, not both of them at the same time.
Yes, it could have initial displacement, it could have initial velocity, or it could have both of them. And like, you know, as we discussed, as I said that in most of the cases, it is always velocity is always accompanied with some deformation, and deformation is always accompanied with some velocity. Okay, depending upon how do we apply. For example, if you apply something very slowly, okay, still you are applying some very small velocity to the system, isn't it? And even if you apply a displacement, or even if you apply a velocity very suddenly, still there would be little displacement, but we ignore for most of the cases. So in general, it depends on both initial displacement and velocity. Okay, for some cases, although we are going to approximate and say that it is only displacement, and some cases only velocity, but you can provide both at any time, and then you can include this equation of motion and find out the amplitude of motion. Okay. Is that clear?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Anybody else has any doubt?
So Dhanashree here.
Yeah, Dhanashree.
So I have one question. Like if we lift a pendulum and release it,
Yes.
so like it will be the harmonic motion, no?
Yes,
Or,
it would be harmonic motion. Yes.
So what you said, it's a free like, or that displacement will be zero at that case.
Displacement would be zero. No, if you give an initial rotation to a pendulum, then it would have initial rotation. Okay, and that initial rotation is basically what is the initial condition here. And then if you let it, if you release it, then it would be a free vibration because there is no external force acting. Okay, so again, it is a case of free vibration. Okay, I don't know whether I understood your question completely or not. Dhanashree?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so basically the harmonic motion of a pendulum is also a free vibration. Remember, harmonic is the type of response which describes the periodicity of the response. Okay, so whether it is harmonic, whether it is random, it describes that the time variation of the function or the response. Okay, free vibration means there is no external force acting. Undamped means there is no damping in the system. So you need to be very clear about these terms. Okay.
So, but when we F0 sine omega t, when we apply, that is a harmonic loading. So
that is a harmonic applied force. Response might or might not be harmonic depending upon what kind of system you have. Okay.
Okay.
Because for some system it could be under damped or over damped or like, you know, critically damped. So depending upon that, you might not have oscillatory motion at all. But when you apply a force which is, let us say, P naught times some harmonic function, okay, then we say that that is a harmonic excitation, because excitation that we are applying is harmonic. Okay, and the response we have to determine.
Okay.
We will see that in the subsequent chapters. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Anybody else has any doubt?
Sir, it's me, Ravi.
Yeah.
Sir, here is the one another thing is the theta.
Yes.
So, what is the meaning of there? This is
theta.
another parameter. Theta in phi. So
sorry, this theta I'm just representing here with omega and t. So maybe I should have written this as cos omega nt minus phi. Is that clear now?
Okay, but sir, now phi is for which thing?
So phi I'm representing with these two quantities. Remember, I have provided this derivation here, right? So
Yes, yes.
here tan phi is basically sine phi divided by cos phi. And if I represent here A as u of 0, right? If I do that, u dot of 0 by omega n, then the tan phi here would become the divided by u0. Okay, so tan phi would be b divided by a. Okay, so what I need you to do, use this derivation here, what I provided, to get the equation of this form. Okay,
So,
it should clarify all your doubts.
physical meaning of phi here. I am asking the
Physical meaning of phi we are going to discuss in the next class. It is called a phase angle. Remember that my excitation, like in this case, like, I mean, there is not a lot of to talk about, like, about phase, but we'll see that it makes sense when we talked about forced vibration. Phase here is whatever load you are applying and the response you get, whether they are in tandem or whether there is a shift in between them, the applied force and the response that you get. So remember that my in this case the natural or the free vibration, the response is actually lagging by angle phi. Okay, we are going to talk about the physical meaning of this one. For example, if you take a mass by a spring, okay, and let us say it is suspended at the top of a column, okay, and then you hold the column at the middle. So mass is suspended at the top of the column, a heavy mass, but you hold the column at the middle of the column and then you start shaking. Your mass at the top would not be tandem with whatever you're shaking. So if you shake right, your mass may go left. And if you make left, if you push left, mass may go right. So that is what we call a phase difference, or like, that we say that the response is out of phase with the applied force. So we are going to get into that physical meaning of phi or the phase angle in a later chapter. Is that clear, Ravi?
yes.
Okay. Anybody else?
Sir, Amir here.
Yes.
Sir, for this undamped free vibration case, so basically, like to start the object vibrating, you have to apply an external force, right?
No, are you talking about free vibration or forced vibration?
A free vibration, like we need to it needs to start vibrating, right?
It needs to start vibrating, correct. And what did I say about that? How do we initiate the free motion, free vibration?
Using an impulse.
Well, not always using an impulse. Impulse is one of the situation, by providing initial condition, and that initial condition we provide in terms of initial displacement and velocity. And one of the ways in which initial velocity can be provided is impulse. Okay.
Oh,
And
okay.
then with these initial conditions, okay, we do not apply anything else. We let the system respond whatever way it wants to. Then I'm not intervening in the system. So I provide initial condition and then I let the system do whatever it wants to do. I'm not intervening any further. So whatever I'm doing is at time t equal to 0. So whatever external intervention is at up to time t equal to 0.
Sir, so that initial condition is the thing which results in the phase difference.
No, that does not result in the here specifically for the free vibration. Okay, there is cos theta minus phi. We will see that phase difference is due to basically the lag in the motion for the applied force and the response that you get. In this case here, whatever initial condition you are providing, that is resulting in phase difference. But for a forced vibration, you will see that that is also due to the frequency of the applied motion. Okay, so if you're applying at very fast rate, a force which is at very fast rate or which is at very slow rate, then your phase difference would be different. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. If not, then I'm going to conclude this class. Thank you for your attention. Bye.